When I work with students, I find 5 really common problems. I'd like to talk about what these problems are and a little bit how to avoid the problems or fix the problems. So we're going to look at a few of the problems here. First problem I'd like to talk about is items that are too big. Now from above we can see this is a little bit big, but when we look at it from the side we can see it is way too big. I've often had students come to me and wanting to print objects that are too big. This one is too big in that it does not even fit on the workspace, as well as too tall. This would be too tall for any printer to print. This would be too long for a printer to print. In addition, items that are too large take a long time to print, which leaves less print time for other students. One of the ways that you can avoid this is checking your size before you start. If you're not sure of what the size is, you can click on the objects and it will tell you all the different dimensions. This one right here is 240 millimeters. If you do not know how much 240 millimeters is, I would suggest getting a ruler and double checking, and you can resize it just like that. As far as how tall it is, you can resize that as well, making it shorter, different things like that. Make sure you check your size and resize your object if needed. Okay, our next object is this object that says flat. From above it looks alright, but when we start to look at it from the side, we can see it is awfully flat. In fact, it is so flat that at times we can see the lines right through it. This object is measured at 0.01 millimeters, which is thinner than a piece of paper. Our printers cannot print thinner than a piece of paper, which means if you try and print something like this, it will not print. What you would want to do to fix this is just make it thicker. Okay, about the thinnest you ever want to do is about 0.5 millimeter thick. This would be good for maybe a bookmark, and that would be a project you can work on later. So this item right here that says look out below, if we turn around and look at it, we can see that letters extend below. Often how it looks is like this, how the red square is on the work plane, but the letters extend below. If they extend below, what it will try and do is print from right here at the very bottom of the letters, which means the red square is unsupported up on top, which will create problems in the printing. One of the best ways to undo this is simply select just the letters. If it won't let you do that, you might have to ungroup your objects. Drop that to the bed, drop that to the bed, and you can actually see it made it the letters stand out a little bit more, so you might even need to adjust them. Okay, our next object is this keychain that says float on. If we look at it from the top, it looks good. We have this working keychain, it looks like. However, once we look at it from the side, very barely we can see that our letters are floating. In addition, we can see that our red square extends below the work plane, while our keychain does not, which means it would be printing an overhang, which would cause problems. So what you'd want to do is for the letters, you can lower them, make sure that they're within the object. That won't cause any problems. Another solution is to raise up the red square. This solution also solves the problem of the keychain. You should definitely look at your object from all different angles. That gives you a better idea of what it looks like and helps you better avoid any mistakes like the ones we've mentioned so far. Our last object is this keychain that says tilt. Now from up above it looks great. When we turn to the side, we can see that some of the pieces have been tilted, and that does occasionally happen. When you are rotating, if you rotate within the circle, it does very solid amounts. Oftentimes what happens is students go on the outside and they tilt it just a little bit. So you could try and correct it like this. The biggest thing is to try and avoid it in the first place. And so if you do accidentally rotate something, you can undo that. Now because this is rotated, when it goes to print, it's going to try and print this side first, and it means all of this here will be unsupported. We can see that the T is floating, and our hole doesn't even go to all the way through the object, which we can see a little bit better if we group it. So a lot of this one is prevention. Watch when you rotate objects and just be aware of that. So these are the 5 most common problems that I see, and a little bit about how to avoid them and fix them.